The late great Bob Monkhouse was of course much more than just an accomplished host of television game shows. Over the course of a career which spanned 50 years, Bob was a successful and much sought after comedy writer, an accomplished artist, an actor and, first and foremost, a hugely funny stand-up comedian. However, many people remember Bob Monkhouse as one of the very best game show presenters in television history. So, with the help of both photographs and a selection of video clips, it is this aspect of Bob's career on which we'll concentrate in this video. Robert Allen Monkhouse was born in Beckenham, London on the 1st of June 1928. His very first successful gag was written during his national service in the RAF, and it led to the aspiring entertainer getting an audition with the BBC. Bob knew that his group captain rarely ever read letters before signing them, so he slipped in a letter that he had composed himself that he intended to send to the BBC. The letter read, "I cannot be responsible for this man's mental balance if he doesn't get an audition. The man is obsessed, and part of the therapy I think that Corporal Monkhouse needs is a BBC audition." The captain signed it, the BBC received the letter, Bob got his audition, and the rest is history. In 1967, Bob scored his first major game show hit with the massively popular Golden Shot. Initially hosted by Canadian singer Jackie Ray, the Golden Shot was not as successful as ITV hoped it would be, and, after just 15 episodes, Ray was replaced by Bob Monkhouse. With his razor-sharp wit and lightning-fast comedy brain, Bob was the perfect man to host a live game show such as the Golden Shot, particularly when you add in the unpredictable element of crossbow bolts being shot across a studio by a blindfolded cameraman. Health and safety would have a field day with that today. With Monkhouse firing on all cylinders, the Golden Shot was soon pulling in audiences of 16 million, all on a Sunday afternoon too. However, the bubble was about to burst. In 1972, executives at ATV were made aware of possible bribes being accepted by Bob Monkhouse in return for featuring particular branded products as prizes on the Golden Shot. Although it was later revealed that there was no collusion, Bob was fired. In 1974, he was invited back as presenter. Bob agreed, but only on the condition that ATV took up the option to make a British version of the American show Hollywood Squares, with Bob as the host.
One of these celebrities is sitting in the secret square, and the contestant who picks it first could win all the fun of the fur. Which celebrity is it? Is it Magnus Pike? Patsy Rollins? Terry Wogan? Pat Coombs? Arthur Mullard? John Conte? Roy Hudd? John Inman? Or Willie Rushton, all joining Bob in the big box game Celebrity Squares. And here he is, the star master of celebs, the big square himself, Bob Monkhouse.
Oh, thank you. Merely the late Bob Monkhouse. Welcome to TV's equivalent to the Spanish Inquisition. It's tremendous fun to watch, but it's agony when you're in it. Ask any one of our vivacious victims on the rack tonight. Hello, celebrities. Said with absolutely vivacious apathy. And may I say what a pleasure it is to know that you're watching us too.
Celebrity Squares ran from 1975 to 1979 and was another major success for Bob Monkhouse, by now recognised as one of the premier TV hosts in the land. Amongst the many celebrities featured on the show, Willie Rushton was a regular occupant of the famed Centre Square. Celebrity Squares would be revived by ITV years later in 1993 and was once again helmed by Monkhouse. This run of the show lasted until 1997. Almost immediately after the 70s run of Celebrity Squares ended, Bob moved on to another revamped version of an American show. Family Fortunes was adapted from the US game show Family Feud. It was another huge success for ITV and Bob Monkhouse, with Bob the ultra-slick professional host who also happened to possess a fine line in comic patter and the ability to make contestants feel at ease. The format of Family Fortunes also made for some memorable answers from many contestants, many of which ended up on various blooper shows over the years. These hilarious answers also provided Bob Monkhouse with plenty of material for his act.
We'd asked 100 people nationwide that goes to the survey, name something which is deserted in the wintertime. And the top answers were a nudist camp and I think a swimming pool, the beach. You can make them up. So we got the 5 top answers. A couple of answers had come up. I come to this woman again. And I'm like this, and the audience is like this. And I said, name something deserted in wintertime. And she said, my cousin Elsie. And the audience laughed like the audience is laughing now. And she said, it wasn't funny. Christmas coming up and 5 children in the house. I mean, where do you put yourself?
In 1984, Bob Monkhouse was firmly established as perhaps the premier television game show host in the country. TV producers were now keen to include his name in the titles of their shows in order to pull in the viewers. The first example of this is one of the most fondly remembered of all 80s TV game shows.
And some fast talking from Bob Monkhouse.
In bingo, lingo, clickety-clicks, it's time to take your pick of the 6. Here are the first 6 subjects. There's one subject against these 10 numbers. You'll give the numbers on your middle line. Find numbers that coincide with subjects you know something about.
Bob's Full House returns next Saturday at 6:50 on BBC One.
Bob's Full House was based on the hugely popular pastime of bingo and was a fixture on BBC One primetime from 1984 through to 1990. Bob could really flex his comedy muscles here, and every episode of Bob's Full House would begin with a quick-fire comedy masterclass from the host. So popular was Bob's Full House, a computer game version was released in 1988. During the run of Bob's Full House, Bob Monkhouse also hosted a revival of the legendary talent show Opportunity Knocks, although this revamped version didn't really unearth as many new stars as the original series.
Hi, it's that time on a Saturday when I pop up between programs to remind you that our Bob Knocks hotline is still open to receive your votes for the artists on tonight's Bob Says Opportunity Knocks. Those votes are pouring in even as I speak, but the lines are open till midnight, so there's time for plenty more. Thanks for your vote if we've already received it, but if not, why not take another quick look at our 6 acts tonight and make a note of the number you need to vote for the act of your choice. First of all, this is the bit that everyone needs. 0898 99 111, and when it comes to that question mark, you just replace that with the number of the act you choose. So, if you're voting for act number 1, Rosser and Davis, the question mark becomes a 1. If act number 2 is the act for you, that's Sarah, and the last number must be a 2. For act number 3, Tony Strange, make it a Strange 3. For act number 4, Chalky, a Chalky 4. Act number 5, Jack Edgar and Snog, dialing ends with a 5. And of course, for act number 6, Stephen Bird, you finish with a 6. Your vote is immediately recorded by us, and my recorded thanks go back to you. The cost is 5 pence, but the effect, unguessable. Remember, you make the calls, your calls make the stars. The opportunity is yours from now till midnight, so seize, please.
As a new decade began, Bob switched once more to ITV to host the $64,000 question in 1990, and then Bob's Your Uncle in 1991. Neither of these shows were particular successes, and Bob's mini-run of misfires continued in 1995, with Monkhouse's Memory Masters lasting for just one series. By this point in his career, Bob Monkhouse was regarded as a godfather of British comedy, and he had recently returned to his comic roots, with 2 of his highly acclaimed live shows being released on video. In 1996, the legendary comedian proved he was far from finished as a television host when he began to front the National Lottery live on BBC One. Once again, Bob's devastatingly quick comedy brain was the perfect weapon to counteract any instances of things going wrong on live television, particularly the time that the draw machine broke down at the worst possible moment.
We're having a slight problem with the machine at the moment. For those of you listening to Radio 1, we're about to power it up and start the machine. But we're having some difficulty. It's at this point that we ask Bob Monkhouse to step forward and ask tonight's drawmaster, John Willen, to explain exactly what we do about this evening's draw.
Drawmaster John Willen, please explain exactly what we're going to do about this week's draw.
In 1998, Bob Monkhouse fronted a daytime TV revival of the quiz show Wipeout, which had originally been hosted by Paul Daniels. Running for 5 years, Wipeout was Bob's final game show run, and it would prove to be a fitting swan song to a stellar TV career. His comedic skills were really put to the ultimate test here, as what many people don't realise is there was no studio audience present for the recording of Wipeout. The audience laughter was added by a sound engineer afterwards, meaning Bob had to react to pretty much an empty studio and use his own judgment as to where to add any pauses or facial expressions.
Bob Monkhouse! Well, thank you. Thank you, folks. Thank you very much indeed. Yes, a few friendly faces there. And hello to all of you who are indoor game lovers. You know, I feel absolutely great. I beat my wife at Scrabble last night. First time I've ever had her at a loss for words. because she can talk for an hour on any subject. 2 hours if she knows anything about it. The other evening she spent 50 minutes on the phone with her best friend, finally hung up and said, "Oh, God, I thought that woman would never stop listening."
Although Bob Monkhouse didn't gain the outright love and affection of the British public until later in his career, this extraordinarily talented entertainer remained a hugely popular fixture on our screens for well over 40 years. In the days when game shows ruled the airwaves, Bob Monkhouse was the game show master.